What's going on, y'all? So we've been having this problem with these, I want to say freaking, but these daggone Schlage locks. They're awesome to not have to have keys to get into the house, but we started having issues with not being able to unlock them or not even be able to lock them. So basically what's going on is you go to put your code in and this just spins, or you go to lock the door and it just spins. So we're going to talk about what you need to do to get inside of this thing and figure out what's going on, and I'll show you what I did to fix it. There are other videos that show different things. Some people just find pieces loose and missing, and yours might be different, but if yours looks like what our problem was, this should help you out. So check it out. Say hello still. So I'm not going to show you how to take this thing apart, but basically you just go to the back side, take these two screws out, back half comes off, and you'll have two more screws inside. You take those and the whole thing splits apart, and you can have it to be able to work on it. So we'll see you after that. Okay. Alright, you got the piece out of the door. First thing you want to do is take it and separate them. You're going to need, for this one specifically, some of them use Phillips head screws. This one takes Torx bit, so it's a T15 and a T10. So we're going to use this T15 to take this back half off. This is off of your front half that's on the outside. So take these 6 screws out of here. So you got all those out, so you can pull this top piece off, and then you can pull this off. Oh, this comes apart, but it's pretty easy to tell how it goes together. Alright, so now we're going to use the smaller T10. Take this front plate off. It's going to have grease on it, so don't work on it in your kitchen or anything. Kind of hold this down when you go to take these screws out, because the stuff will come apart, and hold it straight up like this. Alright, so take this plate off. This is what it looks like on the inside. So when the thing is spinning, these teeth are trying to engage into this pin. So when you hit the button and it gives it power, it pushes it up like this. So this little pin right here is what's supposed to engage into those teeth. And if you plug it in, you can see how it works. But the problem is, I need 3 hands plus. The spring starts to get, one of the springs is either getting weak or something's getting stiffer or something, but the stuff doesn't work right. So if you watch, when you push this, when you put the numbers in, this should go up, but you see how little bit of that pin goes in. That little teeny little bit of that pin is what's supposed to grip into whatever I did with those teeth. So that's not enough. So I tried earlier to just take this spring off of here completely, but then when you go to lock it, it doesn't disengage, so you can still turn it back and forth, so that doesn't work. And then, this is how this comes off. If you try to adjust, I tried to move it, more spring, less spring, that didn't work. So what I found to work was to take all this apart and just trim the spring down. So you still got a little bit of spring to push it back out, but yet it's able to bottom that pin out. So I'll show you how I did that. Alright, so here's a little spring, if you can see that at all. So you got like 1, 2 winds. I tried one earlier and I didn't really think that that was enough. So go about 1.5 winds down or so, and trim that thing right off. So it should be about like that long now. Alright, so you got it trimmed down. You got the end that you trimmed, which I know you can't see in my fingers, but the end that you trimmed, you want it to be going towards this piece. So it goes back in here like this. We want the end that we trimmed going up against this piece because it's more flat surface to hold it together. Just make sure it's sitting up against this plate here pretty good, because it can hang off, you know, and be hanging off extra like that, which you don't really want. So just make sure it's sitting against there pretty good. This piece, alright, you don't want it all the way down, and you don't want to scrunch the spring up when you put it in there either. We need it to kind of have a little bit of gap here at the bottom, and you're going to have to play with it a little bit, but I like mine to be about right there. Alright, and so what you need to do is get it in there, put your piece with your pin back in. Alright, the whole goal here is when it's down, we want the pin out of the way so it doesn't get hung up. Alright, and then we obviously want the motor to be able to push it up all the way. The more pin we have sticking out, the more chance it's got of engaging nice and tight. So all the way out and all the way back is what we want. So really, get this up as far as you can with still having that pin out of the way. Alright, and once you got it back in there like that, then you can put your plate back on and put it back together. So we'll put it back together. I looked at all the different parts of this thing. It's just a lot of freaking moving parts, and they're all kind of sloppy. So it's like all the sloppiness adds up into a not very tight fit, and it just starts to make it get to where it doesn't want to work over time. Let's get that stuff snug back up. This piece I thought was goofy because this looks like it should go in this slot like that, but then this doesn't want to fit down flush. And what that is if the battery dies or it doesn't want to work or something, that's how you're able to use the key. So it actually needs to be perpendicular to this slot, not in it, but perpendicular to it. And that allows for this to be able to go down flush like it should. So you get all that back on there, put your little trim ring on now, and then slide that bad boy back on there. And then you just bolt it back together. It should be good to go. Alright. Something else to keep note that messed me up earlier, I got it all the way put back in there, and then I would go to put the code in, and that would lock the door, and then to unlock the door I would just push the button and it would do it on its own. This black piece right here can be turned up and down or side to side. So with the deadbolt in, like it is right now, and this piece up and down, like that, that makes it work right. If it's this way, and the deadbolt's retracted, then when you push the code in, all you're going to be able to do is lock it, and then you could just push the button and unlock it. So we want this piece straight up and down like that, and the deadbolt in. And then just put it back together like a normal lock, and it'll work. So just keep that in mind. There. Now just put your screws in there, so you're good to go.
You helped? You helped?
Alright, let's see if she works. That thing is locked nice and tight like that, you know it's engaging. Alright, now let's see if she's free. So we know our pin came back out like it should. Let's see if it goes back like it should. Locked in nice and tight. I think we got her hooked up, baby.